Hi friends, Ms.Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make chocolate peanut butter banana bites. This quick snack uses just 3 ingredients. It's both no-bake and gluten-free, and we only pop it in our freezer for just an hour. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here.
All is calm and all is bright.
Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, let's go over the ingredients and supplies that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you'll need are 1 banana, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. The supplies you'll need are a plate, liquid measuring cup, 1 tablespoon, a butter knife, and parchment paper. Okay, great. Your hands are clean and my hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making our chocolate peanut butter banana bites. This is just a fun snack. It only takes 3 ingredients. It's really quick to put together. We pop it in our freezer, and then we just have this great little snack that's gonna give you a bit of protein from the peanut butter. It's a bit sweet from the chocolate, so let's give it a try. Now, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and measure my chocolate chips that we will end up melting in our microwave. So you'll want to grab your liquid measuring cup, put that right in front of you. That's where we're going to melt our chocolate chips. And then grab your 1 tablespoon. We need 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. So I'm going to use 2 scoops of these. And then for your chocolate chips, I'm actually using dark chocolate today. It's what I had in my pantry. You can use semi-sweet chocolate, you can use milk chocolate chips, you could actually try a different thing too if you make it another time, and maybe you do like a butterscotch. Any type of chocolate chips that you enjoy, that's what we're gonna need 2 tablespoons of. So I'm just going to take my chocolate chips, scoop out 1, drop it in, scoop out 2, drop it in. Now, keep your tablespoon because we're gonna need that. You can put any extra chocolate chips to the side, and I'm actually gonna put this to the side. I don't wanna melt it until I'm ready to pour it on top of our creation. I just wanted to have it measured because we're gonna use peanut butter on this, and I didn't want it to get all dirty before we had to measure our chocolate. So you go ahead and put your chocolate to the side, and your tablespoon, keep it close by. Now you're going to grab your parchment paper. Normally parchment paper is optional. However, in this recipe, we do need the parchment paper. That's what we're gonna build our snack onto, and it needs to be able to come off easily once it's frozen. So that's why I'm using parchment paper. It's just a small piece today. You'll see that we don't need a big sheet, so just a small piece of parchment paper. You're gonna place that right in front of you on your workspace, and then you need to grab your banana, your 1 banana, and your butter knife. This is what we're gonna use to cut our banana. If you feel more comfortable using a sharper knife, by all means. I find it easier just to use a butter knife. It's a bit safer and it will cut through my banana. So all I'm going to do is open up my banana. And you do want a ripe banana because we're gonna end up eating this at the end. And if it's not ripe, it's just not gonna taste as good. So you wanna use a nice ripe banana. Take off the peel, and now all I'm going to do is cut it into even slices. This is probably the hardest part because we need the pieces to be even so that when we lay them out, it's kind of the same height throughout, and you'll see what I mean. So we're just gonna try to slice it into even slices. I'm gonna cut off the ends. The ends are rounded, and we don't really want that because it makes it harder to spread our peanut butter. So now I'm just going to take my banana, hold it with 1 hand, hold my butter knife with the other, and cut slices. Now, how thick you want it is up to you. If you make this more than once and you decide you want them to be thicker, but you have less of a snack overall, then you could do thicker slices. The biggest thing is just trying to get them to be the same size. And if they're not, it's not a huge deal. It just, like I said, makes it easier to spread it out, our peanut butter and our chocolate, if they're all the same height and thickness. But I've done it before where they're not, and it still tastes good and it still turns out. So the best of your ability, cut it into slices. I cut this one a little bit because I feel like it's gonna be too high. All right, Keep your butter knife to the side. We're gonna need that to stir our chocolate. But from here, I've sliced up my banana into a bunch of little slices. It doesn't matter how many we have. We just now need to get this into like a rectangular shape on our parchment paper. So how do we do that? All I'm gonna do is take about 4 slices of banana and put them right in a line. So the same thing with the other ones. I'm just building a little rectangle of bananas. So for mine, I have 4 slices of banana for each row. 1, 2. And if you have extra where you don't get a whole row, you could add it to the end. I want mine to be kind of more of like a shape, a square or a rectangle. So this last piece, I'll just eat in a minute, set it off to the side. You just want to basically have a couple rows of banana slices, and that's what we have now. Now we need to put our peanut butter on. So basically we have banana, peanut butter, and chocolate, and then we freeze it, and then we have this great little snack that you can break off, and it's just a fun twist on peanut butter and banana. So from here, I need to put my peanut butter on top now. So I'm going to grab my 1 tablespoon again. It says 1 TBSP, and I need to measure out 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I'm using creamy peanut butter. I would suggest creamy peanut butter. When you get chunky or crunchy peanut butter, it's gonna be a little bit harder to spread. So I just find that the creamy is easier. So all I'm going to do is take my 1 tablespoon and scoop out a tablespoon of peanut butter. And then I'm just gonna take my butter knife here and dump it on about half of my bananas, which would be 2 rows for mine. Maybe you made yours and you have more rows, but you wanna do 1 tablespoon on 1/2, and then 1 tablespoon on another half. And from there, you can put your tablespoon to the side. You can put your any extra peanut butter to the side. So we are done with that. And now we just need to spread this out. So I'm just taking my butter knife and carefully spreading it. Now you do need to have a little bit of patience. Those bananas might try to move around a little bit. Luckily, they start to stick to the parchment paper, so they kind of stay where we want them. But we're just basically creating this nice little layer of peanut butter on top of our bananas. And now you can understand what I was saying about why it's important to try to have them to be the same height, because we just want this nice thin flat surface where we can spread out our peanut butter the best we can. All right. From here, now our next step is just to put the chocolate on. So we need to melt our chocolate. So I'm going to take my chocolate, I'm going to put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. After that, we're gonna give it a quick stir with our knife. So I'm gonna rinse off my knife, just use it to stir it up. So we'll do 30 seconds and then we'll talk about stirring it, and then it goes in for another 30 seconds. So 1 minute total, but we stirred in between. So let's go ahead and put this in the microwave for 30 seconds. All right, friends, so not much has happened since we just put this in for 30 seconds, but I wanna make sure we stir it in between so that the bottom doesn't burn. The cup really isn't even that warm yet, so all I'm gonna do is just give this a quick stir. This is the same butter knife that we used for our peanut butter to spread. I just wiped it off. And now I'm gonna give this a little bit of a stir. You can see that the chocolate chips have started to melt, but not completely. So all I need to do now is pop it in for 30 more seconds, and then it'll be ready to give a final stir and to spread it onto our bananas and peanut butter. So 30 more seconds. All right, friends, so this just cooked for a total of 1 minute in our microwave, and now I'm just starting to stir it. When I took it out of the microwave, there was still quite a few chocolate chips in there, but now as I start to stir it, it's melting, and that's what we want. We don't want really big chunks of chocolate chips in there. We want this to get melted and nice and creamy and smooth. So if everyone's microwave is a little bit different. If you did 30 seconds, stirred it, did 30 more seconds, and yours isn't completely melted, I would pop it back in for 10 more seconds. I wouldn't do more than that, it'll start to burn. But if yours is not completely melted and it's not nice and thin and creamy like mine, then go ahead and put it in for 10 more seconds and try that. And now that I've stirred this, those chocolate chips have melted. I've grabbed the handle because the cup is a bit hot now that it's been in there for a minute. So I'm holding the handle, and all I'm going to do is take my butter knife and pour this right in the middle of our peanut butter. Try to get out as much chocolate as possible. So we want all of that chocolate in our snack and not in our cup. All right, you can set that to the side. All I'm gonna do now is take my butter knife and, the best to your ability, spread out this chocolate right over the peanut butter. I mean, who doesn't love chocolate and peanut butter? And then when you put the banana on the bottom, it just makes for a really fun and yummy snack. And I find it relaxing to spread out chocolate, so maybe you will too. Just have to be patient. Try to get chocolate to all the corners, because wherever there isn't chocolate, when you take a bite, you won't taste chocolate. So, all right, this looks good. I've got all the chocolate. So 2 tablespoons is about the perfect amount of chocolate chips, which is also why I love this recipe. It's not a whole lot of ingredients. It's only 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips, and a banana. So you can put your butter knife to the side. We are done with that. From here, now you just need to grab the plate that we had in our supply list. Any size plate will do as long as your bananas fit on there. And I'm just going to carefully lift this onto my plate and set it right on top, because now we need to put it in the freezer. This is where we have to have the most patience, because we need to put it in there for an hour just to harden up. That chocolate's gonna harden up pretty quickly, but it's the bananas that we need to get a little bit hard as well. They have a lot of moisture in them, so we need to give it time to harden up so that we can just break a piece off when we're ready to eat it. So I have my timer here. I've set it for 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. We will pop this in there, and as soon as our timer goes off, we will talk about getting it out and giving it a try. So in the freezer it goes. Okay friends, this is exciting. So my 1 hour timer just went off. We put it in our freezer for 60 minutes, which is an hour. We gave it a chance to harden up. This plate is really cold, but now you can see we have this great snack, which we can just pull off the parchment paper. You can kind of see how everything is sticking together now, how it's all frozen. That's the goal. So I'm just peeling off the parchment paper now that it's sat in there for an hour. And the fun part is you can just break off a piece, and then you have this like fun little snack. You've got to try it. It tastes really good. If you don't choose to eat it all at once, I mean, it's really just 1 banana and 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, so this is definitely a snack that you could make for yourself. However, you choose not to eat it all at once, I would put it in either a container with a lid or a Ziploc baggie and pop it back in the freezer until you eat it later in the day. I wouldn't leave it in the freezer like overnight. That's a little bit long. It's gonna get a little bit of freezer burn. So about an hour is good. If you don't eat it all at once, just pop it back in there for a little bit. If you put it in the refrigerator, it's gonna start to get too soft and the bananas are gonna get mushy. So if you don't eat it right away, put it back in the freezer for a little bit and then come back to it later. But for me, I would eat this all at once, because I said it's just 1 banana that you're eating and a couple tablespoons of peanut butter. It smells good and it tastes really good. So I do hope you try and make it, or try and make it again. And when you do, let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of how your chocolate peanut butter banana bites turned out. I would love to get to see your creation. Maybe you put something else on top, like some nuts or something, and maybe we can share it next week. Now, speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 67, we are learning how to make peppermint bark. It's the holiday seasons for me right now, and this is just a fun, quick treat that we can make for ourselves. It's 2 ingredients, it's no bake, we just pop it in our freezer for 30 minutes, and we have this great holiday treat. In order to cook along and make our peppermint bark next week, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen. 1/2 cup of white chocolate chips, and 1 candy cane. Well friends, our time together today is almost over. I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make our chocolate peanut butter banana bites. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out on Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye friends, it's time to eat.